Fumbling a baddie is like top 10 worst canon events to ever experience as a guy. Especially when the girl liked you first. And even worse when you actually bagged her, then proceeded to fumble her. Today, kids, I'm gonna tell you the story of how I kinda fumbled a baddie. A couple of years ago, I got a retail job for the holidays. It was my second month working at this store. And on this one December day, I met this one girl. During my shift, I was filling up a shelf with snacks. Then these two girls come into the aisle and one of them grabbed one of those snacks I was packing. Then the older girl goes, "Sorry, I can tell you're busy here." I saw that she had a drink in her hand and I'm like, "You should let me grab a sip of what you're drinking if you really want me to accept your apology." I said some corny shit like that, but it made those girls giggle. Then they went out of the aisle towards the tills and I carried on working. And as they were walking away, I got a good look at the girl who I spoke to's sister. And yo, she was bad as hell, bruh. She was a short, dark-skinned thing and she had a proper hourglass shape, except. Yo! She had a body for days, bruh. And she had on this fitted cap with this black sheen dress that held her body just right. With some fluffy black boots and some spectacles. Yo! Nah, she was too much. She was too much. Goddamn. As soon as I saw her, I felt like I needed to say something. So I walked up to her and I said, "I like your outfit. You look good." She said, "Oh my god, thank you." And that was that. I went back to work and I never saw her again. And then I saw her again. This time she came through the store with her family and I recognized her because she had that same outfit on. She saw me and we locked eyes and I knew this was my chance. Once I found her strolling alone on one of the aisles, I made chase. And when she saw me, she started running away, bruh. Now it was a game of cat and mouse. I saw what I wanted and I was gonna get her by any means necessary. Eventually I caught her by the bread section in the store and I introduced myself. "Hi, we met before. What's your name?" I said. Then she said, "My name is Zanele." And I was like, "Listen, Zanele, I think you're very beautiful and I want us to get to know each other." And then I got her number. And for the whole week, we chopped it up over the phone. We were calling almost every day and she was blowing up my phone while I was at work. I met her on Monday and we went out on the Sunday of that same week. Now, I had work on that Sunday, so I had to ask my boy Bruce to cover for me so I could actually go and see this girl. Actually, shout out to Bruce for covering for me every time I went to see that girl during work hours, etc. Bruce was a W man's. Anyway, I took Zanele out to McD's and I bought her a Happy Meal. And we finally got to chop it up more in person. We had a great time. We ate our food and I was grabbing her thighs under the table and she was leaning her head on my shoulder. And when the rain settled, we left McD's and we went and we chilled outside of the mall. And on that rainy Sunday, we shared our first kiss. And nothing was ever the same. After that date, Shorty started coming to see me during work hours. And I'd leave work early just to spend some time with her. I'd be texting and calling her during my lunch breaks. We used to talk all the time, bro. And she always used to talk about how she wished she could live under my skin. And I couldn't get enough of her either. And this was our routine for the rest of the December. Then in January, I got transferred to another store. And things went downhill from there. I started seeing less of Zanele. She was no longer at arm's reach anymore. One day before Valentine's Day, I had an errand to run in Soweto. Before I left there, I hit her up and I told Uguti I'm gonna pass by her city. Cause I missed her. And then she hit me with the, "Yo, your timing is really bad. But it's fine, you can come." And that should have been the first red flag right there. So I made my way to the mall where I used to work and I waited for her. I think I chilled for an hour before I tried calling her. And she was talking about some, "I'm still cleaning. I'll let you know when I leave the house." So I waited. Another 2 hours. I tried to call her again, but Shorty wasn't answering her phone. And I said, "Yazin, fuck this chick." And I left. Funny enough, it was raining on that day too. And I was looking outside of the window of the taxi, listening to Drake all sad and shit, cause I knew it was chai. Zanele tried to call me back the next day, but baba. Shorty had me waiting hours, only to be a no-show. Yeah, my pride couldn't allow that. So, I mized her. I low-key wanted her to feel how I felt, so I gave her the silent treatment. Which, looking back in retrospect, was not the best way of handling that situation, I can't lie. But a month later, I came back to my senses, and I called her to try and rekindle things between us. "Hey, listen, I don't like the way we ended things. etc., etc. But yeah, she was acting all cold and standoffish. So I just listened to my pride again, and I ended the conversation and dropped the call. In the months after that brief conversation between us moored me. Fuck! I was having a hard time getting over this girl, Munna. I'd be working and I just get flashbacks of this girl, bruh. I'd be at home washing dishes and I just get flashbacks of this girl, bruh. I constantly had chest pains because of this girl. Shorty had me on my knees, exe. Then, this one day, I'm outside on my lunch break, and then I hear this vibration in my pocket. It's my phone. I open it, and brah, I butt dialed this chick, exe. Did I not scream the loudest fuck in my life when I saw her name pop up on my phone? And the whole time I was still trying to get over this girl, Munna. She didn't pick up, but she responded with a question mark. And Yazin, I took that butt dial as divine intervention. Maybe this was a sign for me to try again, or at least to end things properly with this girl this time, at the very least. So I asked my coworker Boo for advice, and he said, "Ufuna umpress lo girl. If you want her back, press her baba." So I texted her that I missed her and that I wanted to talk to her over a call. She agreed. Then when I tried to call her, she didn't pick up, and that was the final nail in the coffin. Maybe I was too late, but all I knew was that it was over. It had been over. But that fact didn't make the blow any less painful. I was still getting moved by chest pains and flashbacks. I even ended up going to the mall where we had our first date so I could get some closure. A part of me was hoping I would bump into her so I could tell her how she made me feel and how much I wanted to be with her. But I never did, and that was how my chapter with Zanele ended. Then, for whatever reason, sometime after that chapter, I opened my archive chats and I saw that she had tried to reach me a while after our last conversation. But like I said, it had already been shy for a minute by then. So I never texted her back. I never called her back. It was over. So hey man, moral of the story is that pride comes before the fall, and you gotta know when to throw in the towel. Know whether something's worth fighting for, and if it is, swallow your pride and go for it, man. If it's for you, then it'll always be worth the risk. You can't fumble something that isn't meant for you.
Remember people, baba, your happiness comes first. Nah, so don't flop. If you like someone, abo, shoot your shot, man. Don't be a mapena and wait for the right moment. Cause the right moment might be the same moment that she loses interest in you, yabo. Ish, yeah, never fit.